Hey guys, today we will be presenting Facilitating Technical Innovation with Project Team number 5, and that is Max, Jake, myself, and then Yavini. The history of technology in construction. I separated this out into 4 different parts: the Industrial Revolution, the 1980s to 1990s, the 2000s, and the future. The Industrial Revolution, I see this as a replacement of hand tools to the creation of power machinery, and that's helped with the development of the combustion engine around this time. And with the combustion engine, we see this a lot around today in the construction job site, and this was able to make this is able to make construction go a lot faster and more effective as well. In the 1980s, 1990s, we see the creation of PCs, mobile phones, and this helped the office side of things a lot, especially with communication. Now you can finally call each other with mobile phones, and then with PCs, this introduced the early construction software, and it's able to make paperwork minimalized and have it stored digitally. This introduced scanning paperwork as well. The early 2000s, or the 2000s in general, we see the advancement in phones. So in 2007, the iPhone came out, and this was the start of something, start of something new, and that is used today a lot with taking photos, phone calls, as well as sending text messages, and finally like sending emails a lot more efficiently. And then 3D technology too. The future, I listed 3 parts that I would like to see in the future: AR reality, so having like a headset on you and kind of exploring a job site while it's not developed yet. Autonomous machinery, so not so a self driving equipment or machinery that's not operated by a person, and then 3D printing as well.
Hi everyone, Max Tracer. I'm going over a little bit about the project management softwares out there in the world today and kind of how they came about and what happened before project management softwares were developed. So back 20 years ago, kind of like Yavin said earlier, wasn't a whole lot of project management softwares used to help organize and streamline the process. Your submittals, your RFIs, and other documents were delivered by hand or by email, just kind of unorganized, not a good paper trail behind that, and these were all kind of made to help streamline that process and help improve your organization on a job. So eBuilder, Kahua, Procore, you can see on the screen there. Those are kind of all-encompassing project management softwares. You can do everything from submit your submittals and RFIs on there. You can upload project documents. You can upload your drawings, your specs, and view those all on there. And then PlanGrid's kind of just an online drawing viewer. Primavera Submittal Exchange is obviously for submittals. You can upload your submittals there and forward them onto the design team to get approval. And then you got Classic On-Screen Takeoff, PlanSwift, and Bluebeam are kind of just document markup and estimating softwares for takeoffs. So what I've used the most is Procore. So I'll go a little bit more into depth on Procore. It's like I said, it's an all-encompassing project management software. You can upload your drawings and your specs to Procore. They'll automatically link the drawings. You can go click on a detail on a page, and it'll take you to that page and to that detail. And then the specifications you can also upload, and they'll be linked on there too. So you can search your spec number, and it'll take you right to that spec. You can also do closeout and punch list items on Procore. You can submit your submittals and RFIs, like I said earlier, forward them on to the design team or whoever needs to review those. And then Procore also comes with a mobile app, so you can have your app on your tablet or your phone out in the field, view your RFIs, submittals, and documents. Anyone with access to your Procore can view those. So subs, owners, design team, general contractor on the job site. And then there's also a mobile BIM model viewer on Procore, so you can go out and set in a spot and hold a button on your phone and look around and actually see 3D what's supposed to be there to help visualize that. So it's kind of cool. If anyone wants to see it, I have it on my phone. So pretty cool. But like I said, project management softwares have helped kind of streamline the process, help improve schedules, and keep your project more organized. So
I'm going to talk about documentation, inspections, and punch lists, more specifically OpenSpace, Procore punch list, and how that looks and works, and then what you can kind of do with drone photos and fly-throughs. So those of you that aren't familiar with OpenSpace, it uses computer vision and machine learning to recognize, track, and quantify work in the workplace. And it's highly accurate in tracking progress to help builders, stay on schedule and maintain their budget a little bit. I kind of got to experience this when I worked for MCL Construction in Omaha. It's pretty much like putting a GoPro on your hard hat and walking around the job site, and it captures a 360-degree view of everywhere you're walking. It's really beneficial and a really cool piece of software to use. Then Procore Punch List, I also got to kind of use this at MCL as well. But what you can do with it, and more specifically with Punch List, is you can go through and create punch list items and assign them to certain contractors and kind of write a description about, this light bulb needs fixed or replaced or whatever it may be. Then you can obviously assign it to a certain subcontractor, and then they will can go in and look at that, and it eliminates a lot of questions. They obviously know what needs done, and you can even take a picture of it, upload it, so they know exactly what it is and what needs done. And then drones. You can obviously use drones to take daily photos, daily fly-through videos, and kind of help you track daily progress. And then communication methods. I just want to dive into how much cell phones have really changed the game as compared to 100 years ago, obviously. You're not writing a letter or anything like that. So, but cell phones have obviously really changed the dynamic as far as communication goes. It's a lot quicker, it's a lot faster, and it's a lot more efficient. And it's made the paperwork process a lot quicker, like through submittals. You don't have to wait a week for an RFI or a month or whatever the case may be. And then email, it's very quick, it's effective, and it ensures you have, critical items in writing. So if for whatever reason the contractor tries to hold something against you, you have it in writing and proof and something to go back on.
Next, we have scheduling softwares. Before, we would do all the scheduling on hand. Now we have softwares that can make it easily accessible and shareable between project managers and other people on the field. First application we have is innate scheduling, which has been used recently within the university and its classes. It's online, as I said, shareable, easy to update, and it's mostly facilitated towards short-term schedules. If you're working on a project that's bigger, such as a Qt, Microsoft project may be the move for that. As the industry standard is Microsoft Project, and Primavera being, the higher tier above that, basically the Apple of scheduling softwares. But scheduling softwares basically help you fast track, and they help you break down the cost of, you can put in a cost down structure on there and see the S curve and see how much money you are facilitating each month that you are constructing, and seeing if you have enough cash flow to do that. So scheduling isn't just used by the project managers. It could be used by the owner as well to keep upkeep on the project. It could be used by the owner's accountants or architects or engineers as well. And most importantly, it could be used by you and project managers to easily make your project run a lot more smoother, and having all of your line works and item numbers put down, and helps with the checklist. Next, we have BIM modeling. There's multiple ways to use it. It's more about learning how to use it and getting used to all of the different buttons that are associated with programs. But there are two programs used within the university. Those are Revit and Rhino for the most part. There are more than that, and there's some third-party applications that can detect clash detections as we see here. And it's been developed since the 1970s. It used to just be models, and now you can actually do quantity takeoffs, solar analysis, marketing. You can do virtual or augmented reality with these BIM modeling, and have them intertwined to each other. So the sky is the limit for this, and I'm just now seeing augmented reality be intertwined with the BIM modeling, and you could see everything in person on the site before it's even built. So BIM modeling still has a long ways to come, but it's done so much, and for every dollar spent in designing, $20 are spent on the actual project to be built, and 60 is spent to upkeep it throughout its lifetime. So designing is definitely a big part of it, though the price is not. It's not a lot to have BIM modeling, which is why everyone should facilitate this into their company, and it can definitely save you a lot of money and make you a lot of money.
All right, I'm here with Derek Hayes, the Hausman Construction Technology Director. Derek, tell us a little bit about how you got this role and kind of what you did before.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine that I used to work with caught wind that Hausman Construction was looking for a new BIM coordinator, modeling guy.
Okay.
So I called Chad, and here I am.
Cool. And what do you do as the technology director?
So that encompasses all things construction technology wise, not to be confused with IT technology. What that, the 3D modeling, drones, reality capture, 360 cameras, the robotic total stations, all that kind of stuff, all that technology.
Cool. What are some programs that you have seen used in construction today that have helped construction and that people are out on the job site using every day?
Procore's the first one that comes to mind. That's a big one. Hausman Construction, we implemented that about 2 years ago. Seeing the state of things before we went to Procore and how they are now, the biggest thing is just that level of communication is through the roof. Everybody has all the construction documents at their fingertips, whether it's on their iPhone or an iPad. RFIs are answered, and you go to one bucket to find everything that you need, including the models for visualization tools, everything. So in my opinion, Procore has been the biggest thing for us at Hausman, at least.
Gotcha. And what are some other things, like what do you use for your BIM softwares? What are some integrated softwares you could use for that?
Okay. So the design teams typically build the models in Revit, and that's where they're getting the construction documents from. So I take their Revit models, and I'll push those out into Navisworks. We use Navisworks here for the coordination part of it. Some places use BIM 360, which is also by Autodesk, which owns Revit as well. That's another solution that we've used in the past. I prefer Navisworks just because it's a little bit easier to use, and I can get what I want out of it on a more granular level.
Gotcha.
Than I can with BIM 360. The graphics in BIM 360 look a little better, but as far as usability and everything like that, Navisworks is what I prefer.
Gotcha. So using this technology out in the field, how have you seen that improve the flow of projects and maybe even expedite schedules and stuff like that?
So the way I explain it, if I'm doing an interview for a project we're going after or whatever, budgets and schedules just keep getting shorter and tighter. So the main way that construction firms like ours are going to be able to meet those deadlines and meet those budgets is through the use of technology. So having something like Procore, or the 3D model through Navisworks or whatever the case may be, it all comes down to communication and having the visualization tools, the 3D model Navisworks, and even the model viewer on Procore at your fingertips for people like you, superintendents on site, subcontractors on site. If the construction documents aren't quite clear on how something should be built, you can open up that model and get a visual cue of what that's supposed to look like. So maybe the construction documents are starting to make a little better sense. You can interpret them a little bit better.
Okay, and I know through our project we've been doing a lot of clash detection. Tell everyone about what clash detection does and how that can help speed up in-field work if you get it ahead of time.
Yeah, clash detection is huge. Design teams, they have their role, and that's engineering the systems and all that kind of thing. We take that next step and actually coordinate where duct runs and pipe runs and everything can fit. Let's say above a corridor where you have a congested above ceiling space, we route everything so that it fits. Clash detection identifies where those clashes occur, where those conflicts occur, such as if you've got a pipe going through a duct, or something like that, or a duct trying to go through a steel beam or something, or even just up into a steel beam, it will identify those conflicts for us. Navisworks,
yep.
what we use Navisworks for, will identify those conflicts for us so that we can adjust. The big thing for the subcontractors and us as well, not only does that improve the flow in the field, but it also provides an opportunity for subcontractors to prefabricate a lot of their stuff. Some subcontractors, electrical subcontractors here in town, even they'll prefab entire conduit racks. You might have 10, 15, 20 1-inch conduits in a rack. Traditionally, that'd all be built on site, one at a time. If it's cold, if it's hot, whatever, the quality may not be perfect, depending on the conditions of the site. But prefabrication, which is what we can do because of BIM, the BIM coordination process, is done in a controlled environment in the shop. Conditions are perfect, and then they just ship that out and install it, instead of having somebody spend 3 hours trying to mount 20 individual 1-inch conduits. It takes them 10 minutes.
Yeah, you just slap up a piece.
Slap it up and keep going. So back to the schedule and even the budgeting that we talked about before, that's the only way some of these projects work.
Gotcha. Speaking of subcontractor, how do you implement new technology, and how do you get subs motivated into buying into doing that with us?
Anything new, nobody likes change. We all like to get in our groove and just go. So when we're trying to implement something new, we have to prove that value to the other user. It can be difficult, it can be time consuming, and it may be even a little bit painful at times, getting over some of those learning curves and things like that. But investing in the subcontractor, partnering with them, and using even just language like that, we're partnering with you, we want to try this to benefit you and us and everybody in the project, explaining the value to them and getting that buy-in. It really just, you really just have to find the language that resonates with them to get that buy-in.
This isn't one of the questions I had, but being an owner on the job, or having an owner, is it hard to get them to buy into that process too, or are a lot of owners willing to?
Sometimes it can be difficult to get the owner to buy in. Looking at it from an owner's perspective, which I've held that role as well previously. You, the contractor, you owe me a building. How you get there, I really don't care.
Gotcha.
That's it's your problem to figure out. There's other owners that want to be really involved in that. Typically smaller owners, like a rural school district or something like that. They really eat up that technology and really want to be involved. So having an owner that's involved, like even on this job, we use Procore at Houseman. UNL uses eBuilder. They're not going to switch for us, and we're ingrained in Procore, so it's challenging for folks like you, where you have to double your efforts on a lot of things, but that's how the ball bounces sometimes.
Gotcha. So what are some things in construction technology that make you excited for what's to come, and what are some new softwares that you've seen that are in the works that might be useful in the future?
Kind of a geek, kind of nerdy sometimes. Virtual reality and augmented reality, I think are going to play a huge role in the future. By the time you're my age, hopefully there'll be some really cool things. Robotics, even artificial intelligence is coming on real strong right now. But as far as like robotics, everybody's probably seen the Boston Dynamics dog, Spot the dog.
Yep.
Trade partners like Trimble and our building point Mid-America, they can mount a 3D scanner on top of Spot the dog, and once overnight or whatever, when everybody's cleared the site, they send Spot the dog out to the job site to scan the entire project overnight. By the time you come back in the morning, it's all registered and you got a full 3D scan of the project, and I can take that point cloud and throw that into Navisworks or whatever I'm using for coordination and see what work's been done. Is everything where it's supposed to be? Kind of back checking. That's really exciting. The augmented reality. I've had the HoloLens here a few times. That is, I think, that can be a real powerful tool. Trimble had. I'm not pimping Trimble, but Trimble has they provide or integrate with the HoloLens. They've even furthered that development to where someone like Akron, who's our layout superintendent, uses the robotic total stations. They've integrated that system into the HoloLens recently, released this, so Akron can walk around with the HoloLens, and instead of having to walk around with the stick and
set up,
get it, trial and error and try to get it right there. On his glasses, it's showing there's my point right there. Walk over there, stick it, done.
Crazy.
Moving on. So again, what does that do? Time and budget, right?
Yeah.
Schedule and budget. It takes something like that would shave off minutes in a day, hours in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, days in a project. As we all know, time is money.
Yes.
But augmented reality is a big one, and robotics, I think, is really cool.
That's really cool. Is there any advice you have for people just getting into construction, such as graduating students and even like the older generations, and have advice for them using technology on their projects?
The biggest thing for me is embrace it. I think the best advice I could give is just embrace technology. There's not all technology is going to work, but part of the process of figuring those, what works and what doesn't, is actually using them. If you're, like I said earlier, people are generally don't like change, right?
Yeah.
They're afraid of change. Embrace the change, especially coming in, young like you are. I mean, the future, who knows what's going to, what's going to, what the future holds. But embracing that technology, keeping an open mind. You mentioned some of the older generations. It can be very difficult, as we're finding out here. I mean, it's a struggle getting some of those experienced folks, older folks, to look at the model in Procore and follow the model and utilize some of these technologies that we have, because this is the way I've done it forever. I know it works, and I know how to do it, and I can just run with it, right?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. There is some of that. But at the same time, technology is not going to go away.
Yep.
It's only going to get more ingrained into the everyday processes. So the best thing you can do is just embrace it. Try to get in on some things at the ground level. If you become aware of something that has some strong potential, champion that. Pioneer that in the company, and who knows where that might take you.
Right. Well, that's all I have. Do you have anything else to add? Anything to tell people?
No, just like I said, embrace technology. Really just keep an open mind and go get it.
Cool.
You know?
Well, thank you for your time, Derek.
Yeah.